So I'd like to introduce Henry Hayes. Henry Hayes is a visionary CEO and co-founder of Disrupt Red, which spearheads a cutting-edge business intelligence firm that focuses on emerging technologies, specifically artificial intelligence. As an adjunct instructor at LSU's Roger Ogden Honors College, he imparts his expertise by teaching courses on AI and large language models, which shapes the minds of future innovators. Globally sought after, he delivers keynote speeches on disruptive innovation and implementing AI into legacy businesses. Before founding Disrupt Ready, Hayes played a pivotal role in developing the commercial facet of Avenir Pharmaceuticals, a company that was acquired for $3.5 billion in cash in 2014. His multifaceted experience and entrepreneurial leadership continue to fuel advancements in tech and business strategy. It is my honor to please welcome Henry Hayes.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? I love coming back here. Sales. You guys have heard my story of why I'm a sales guy, right? When I was getting my deck pulled up, you know how speakers say, hey, I approach this from a sales perspective. Guys, I was selling day one. Let me tell you the story. So much like you guys remember when I was born, you know, they wiped the stuff off the face, and you look left and you look right, and you look left again, and for me, when I looked left again, I saw a topless number and a pink diaper, and I said, how you doing? That is my wife today. She was born 2 hours ahead of me on the same day in Women's Hospital. So I was selling coming out of the room. Amen? And look, just because we're friends, no, that's not my sister. So let's just... Okay, how many in the room have seen me speak before? Today's your lucky day because, not because I'm speaking, I'm going to present stuff, guys, I just literally created yesterday. Because the content is moving so quick in this space, I'm so excited to give you guys, really, we're going to call this like AI today. Like, what is going on today? And it's really great to be with sales and marketing folks. I don't have an answer to you. Okay, I can handle it. Okay, so look, here's my 10th day with our time together, guys. I'm gonna give you a lot. This is gonna have the attention span of a hummingbird on espresso with some Adderall. So the best way we use our time is, Katie, what a stunner, thank you. That works. Is for you to raise your hand and ask questions. Because this market is moving so quickly that that's the best way we can use our time. It's great to see we have Disrupt Ready customers in the house. Miss Riley Womack, if you guys have not met her, she's going to run the car industry globally in about 5 years. Watch out what they're doing at Jerry Lane, and some other folks as well. So, okay, show hands real quick. Who does not have yet a ChatGPT account? Raise your hand. Out. Just kidding. I'm joking. If there was just 2, really? Is that right? Okay, all right, we're doing better. We're working on it. That's right. We're getting there. And when was that? Last time a live cook was, how long ago was that? Was that in wow. Okay. And yeah, it does. Okay, so guys, the update today. Can you give me that next slide while I just wait for it to happen? So, look, Zuckerberg said it, and I think he's right now. Your biggest risk now is not taking one. Okay, so there's no more comfort and safety in doing the same thing. So your biggest risk now is not taking a risk, right? And that's because AI is here. The next one is, look, come on, give me the caption. Come on. The genie is out of the bottle. And anytime you can use Barbara Eden on a slide deck, you should do it as a good, he originally. But guys, look, if the genie is indeed out of the bottle, then these things of, is it going to take jobs? It's no longer time to ask those questions. We're now in a competitive arena. How many of you guys played either high school or college sports? Raise your hand. It's the room. So you're competitors. You guys know how to compete. That's the era that we're in now. The genie is indeed out of the bottle. All right, here's what's happening in the ecosystem. And there is a three-legged ecosystem developing. And I want to walk you guys through this. Large language models, so that's ChatGPT. The GPUs, which run the large language models, okay? And then the data and content. So follow me here quickly. Let's see. All right, the large language models. You guys know the top players. OpenAI, that's the ChatGPT. Google, everybody is in the game now, all the big money players. The bottom, which you haven't heard of, but these are the ones, guys, that are kind of on the come. The problem here is everything that everyone does in this room, within 6 months, there's going to be a large language model specifically for light industrial construction, or one-man marketing shops, or a car dealership who does between $10 and $25 million in revenue. It's going to get real specific real quick. So all of these are coming to the market. By the way, did you guys know that of all Americans who have a ChatGPT account, guess how many use it daily? What percentage? 60, Mary Elizabeth said. What did I hear over here? 20? 7%. 7% use it, open it daily, which we're going to get to that. So there's room to grow. So you're still a little early. Okay, the GPU players, these are the big three. Anyone heard of NVIDIA lately? I can assure you, if you own a mutual fund, you own a piece of NVIDIA. Guys, this is a $3.3 trillion market cap company. Now, just for context, if we go back to 2018, in the NASDAQ, we had 0 companies that were worth over $1 trillion. Anybody want to guess, if you whip open your phone right now, how many we have on the NASDAQ? 7. 6 of the 7 have been fueled by artificial intelligence.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Can you give that back to my daughter? She just give from LSU, put it in her classes. Right there. All right, why does that matter? Guys, when you're a publicly traded stock, what's the name of the game? Thank you. It's growth. So if this table is the executive team at Microsoft, how are they compensated? Growth. They don't care what you've done before. Do you know how hard it is to grow a $1 trillion market cap company? So what do you think that's going to mean? Guys, mergers and acquisitions is no longer kind of a cute, let's talk about it. They have to do that. Otherwise, they can't go into, there's not more blood in the onion than they're currently taking. So this is taking a different tone. We have 7 companies that are over $1 trillion. The only one that's not in AI is Saudi Aramco, and that's good old-fashioned oil. By the way, Intel, you guys remember them from your childhood? Intel's on the verge of being bought and being out of business. So they're in the game, but barely. So these are the 3 big players for chips. All right, here's where you come in. See, my guy messed me up. I had a good flow. My man, come on.
Sorry, Katie.
All right, guys, this is where you come in. The content or the data. Okay, this is really important to learn. We cannot get in the GPU or the LLM game. We don't have the tech stack, we don't have the money, we don't have the engineering know-how. That game's over. This, however, it's meant to be you looking in the mirror. Because your data and or your content is, without this, the other 2 legs of the stool are useless. So they have to have this. Anybody wonder, or let me ask it this way. What did you guys think of when Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion? Cool. So seriously, what's that? Who said overpaid? You thought he overpaid? Okay. What's he planning? Right? Guys, Twitter, do you think that a bit of text goes back and forth through that platform daily? Just a wee? Large language models are trained on text. Do you know who's set to dominate in the next round of AI? It's X.AI. That's why I bought Twitter. So we'll see if you overpay. Should be determined. My point is,
Language model.
was that?
What's a large
Okay.
language.
So if you have ChatGPT, that is a large language model. It means that we put, the folks at OpenAI put trillions. All right, Chase, if this doesn't work, I'm telling you. Gotcha. At the end of the day, stick with Katie. That's the kind of learning. Okay, large language model. You take trillions of bits of text data, wall it off, the computer sits in the middle, it learns, it soaks it in, it reads, and it gets smarter as a result. That's an LLM. Okay, and that is the commercial use of AI right now, for a while. Make sense? Okay, so guys, this is where you need to be thinking about this. Now, there's so many ripples to this right here. And we're going to talk about it in a moment, what else is occurring, but this is us. This is the last kind of card that we have to play in the deck. Right? Okay, so what's emerging? What's happening? So, okay, and this is so perfect for this room. We have grown up, guys, in an era where when David Day decides, you know what, it's time to spend $1 or $2 to tell my story. We have a good story in the day group. Okay, all right. We've thought, hey, you know, one size fits all. That message, let's blanket the parishes of East Baton Rouge Parish, and let's get the message out there. And that's worked for a long time. Guys, those days are over, I'm telling you. We're doing this work, number one. And number two, the technology now gives it to us. And number three, we as humans, this is what we should have wanted forever. But I always tell the story about, what's your name, man? Allison. Do you remember what you were doing on February 25th, 1990? No, you don't. I'll tell you what you weren't doing. She wasn't smoking on a domestic air flight because February 24th, 1990, the FAA outlawed smoking in the air. Now, I have a 24, 21, and 18-year-old, and they say, Dad, I know you speak for a living, but that simply didn't happen. Who in the room remembers when you could smoke on an air flight? Okay, I have two of my students here. They think I've been day drinking to make this up. Guys, like, why do I bring that up? In the history of the Museum of Bad Ideas, that was probably the showpiece. At 30,000 feet, in a tube of air, let's smoke. Right, come on. Okay, hold on. Walk with me now. A few years from now, we'll come back to this group and say, remember when we were talking about the history of bad ideas? Billboards. Radio messages that we just sent it to everybody. What's your name, sir? Yeah. Jari. Jari is different than Henry. And we should be spoken to differently. And the merchants and the vendors that get to us with that specificity early will win. Then they'll learn, and they'll do it more and more and more. Because one size no longer fits all. Let me tell you a little bit more about what we're doing. These two young men up here are from my class at LSU, we're going to talk about in a minute. One of the projects that they're doing is, there's 250,000-ish living LSU alums. 20,000 of which LSU, they have about 100 people that work full-time in getting donations. So they talk to about 20,000 of them. So 230,000 don't hear anything. Well, we went to him and said, hold on, well, who's in the 250,000? And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you could have had a guy that graduated from LSU in the late 60s who played the tuba and frankly hates sports. Why would you ever mention sports to him? You could have another guy who graduated LSU in the 90s, loves sports, and now lives in Washington, D.C. You couldn't have sent him a message a month ago saying, Dylan Cruz and Jaden Dale showed up. Tigers, go see them. It's context, specificity. And I go, well, we don't have the people for that. Well, we do. And it can do it a whole lot faster, a whole lot cheaper. And I mean, imagine, guys, this is what's coming in that area. And I also want you to process this. Imagine you're a gymnastics fan this spring. So check that. So you're a gymnastics fan, you have a 12-year-old daughter, or even better, a 13-year-old son. And that 13-year-old boy gets a text in purple and gold on his phone and says, press play. In Livy Dunn's voice, she's singing him happy birthday. Yeah. I mean, your responses say it all. Right message, right time, right person. I'll give you another example that I gave two of my new friends when they were walking in. Car dealerships. David Day has, what do you drive? Acura? Yeah. So here's value, guys. David Fabry texts David in his voice, which we do. Hey, David, it's David over at Acura. Hey, our records indicate you're a month inside your warranty window. Why don't you bring in the Acura We'll see if Granddaddy Acura can pay for anything. If not, I'll wash it for you for free. David's like, that's a good idea. I'll bring it in. Or 3 months later, with no text sent, on the interstate with his wife, and something breaks down, takes it to the dealer. Oh man, you were 2 months out of your window. It would have been nice to know. Little stuff like that, guys. And you say, well, we don't have people for it. This does. So can you begin to see the ripple effect of just that piece? It's a micro tactic using AI that would have on your potential customers. Now, the key is you've got to get to know who they are specifically, because they're all different. My friends at the credit union, 45,000 members, I'd be curious to know how many different personas do we have? And then once we find out 99, 19, 195, whatever, right? Then the machine's going to say, what do these people care about? What are their pain points? And then more importantly, where are they? Because we're all playing an attention game. It might be an Etsy crowd. You might want to call these people. This is an email crowd. This is a LinkedIn crowd, Facebook, etc., etc., etc. Or let's just communicate to everybody on the same platform. You see, the days of throwing money against the wall, guys, are over, right? So it's a massive change. All right, what else? Come on. We said what's that? Okay. Again, data mapping, we do this. We're working with some really big charities on this, guys, because the idea is, okay, a subset, this is really true of anything in sales. A subset of your customers have said, yes, I want to go with you, okay? Ethan Schiff back there works for Miller Enterprises. A certain set of people have said yes to Ethan. Let's call it 100. We say, well, wait, time out. Before we go looking for another one, I want to understand, why do those 100 say yes? Is it the offering, the price, the time, whatever it is, there's data to say we can have some trends behind who said yes and why. And then once we have that, let's double and triple down to go find more people like that. I think as salespeople, we're like, I've got a good gut. My gut's been good, and my gut is good. But it's good, right? Because my gut can't compete against reams of data, even in my own world. I'd be a fool to try to do that. So does that make sense? So you have to know who your customers are, and then once you do know, those insights get really, really powerful. Great use case of AI. Why? We can take Lisa's credit union. This whole room can go, okay, it's time, guys, to dive into Lisa's 45,000 members. You guys back there, you got 1 through 5,000. You guys are going to take 5 to 10. So can the humans do it? Sure. Would it take a while? Yeah. Would it be expensive? Yeah. And then would you guys really like to do that work? No. But all these boxes begin to be checked, right? And people go, oh, okay, let's keep going. All right. This is, again, messaging that is bespoke and moves the needle. Lisa's credit union should not serve a first-time home buyer's ad to a 78-year-old man. Chances are pretty good my man's owned a house, right? Conversely, my 24-year-old doesn't need to see information about reverse mortgages or HELOCs. She doesn't own a home. But in truth, it's like, we know that, but do we? Because I don't see people acting on information like that, right? The future is now here for that. Okay, A/B testing, which is simply you put out 2 different messages similarly written, and which one does better, and the index to that. Okay. All right, what else is emerging? Okay, guys, this is a left-right turn that you need to think about. Traditional software as service, or SaaS. Does everybody know what SaaS is? Right, so that's Microsoft and Salesforce. And people, you pay a subscription for some product or some output, and you get, and you keep going, and it's fine, right? Okay. Lots of money has been made there. Those days we think are over. Here's why. When groups like this understand the power of this technology, you go, oh man, this can do a lot of things to my 45,000 members. But what's happening is when they call their traditional software providers, they're not changing the original software tool. Why? Because that's not how it was built. We had a very profound moment in this guy's class, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So what does that mean? That means that you have to ask yourself, who owns your data? And if it's with a traditional software provider, rest assured, in the what's called the aggregate, meaning I'm not going to put his name to it, but they're training their systems on your data. Now, you may still derive outcome. That might be fine. But what we're saying is, you have to almost think about this now as a virtual employee that you own. And that's the way we build at Disrupt Ready. Does that make sense? It's a big kind of juicy nugget to chew on. Meaning, It's like Google when we searched Baton Rouge best pizza 10 years ago. We're like, oh great. What happened? What do we know now about that top slide? It's paid for. So is it Baton Rouge's best pizza? Maybe not. That game is it's not ending because they'll be around as a $250 billion a year business. But our kids search on ChatGPT now. They don't search on Google much anymore, right? So that's happening as well. So your customer data has never been more important than it is today. Tomorrow will be a little more important. Because I told someone the story right before we started. I spoke to 500 florists this week. People who own flower shops. Someone got raised his hand. He goes, all right, big guy, what's to prevent Google from getting in the flower business? I said, you tell me. Not much. They've got the money. They can distribute. Hopefully, Jim from Springfield, Ohio is known in the community. Meaning this, Jim from Springfield, Ohio has got to double and triple down on his people. We got to build moats around our customers, and we got to learn to serve them better. That's the art of AI. Right? Meaning we know more about them, and with all due respect, any lawyers in here? Thank God. We cannot personal injury attorney this stuff, guys. Like banging her over the head, where it's like, fine, again, I remember the damn number, fine, you got me. That's not permission-based marketing. It's not going to work. Well, it could work, but I don't think people are going to buy from you. Okay, yeah, traditional SaaS or your own bespoke AI solution. Now, here's the thing. You might hear me say that and go, yeah, Henry, but I'm a small business. Like, that sounds expensive. Most of this stuff, guys, can get started cheaper than you can hire somebody for a full year. And guess what? It didn't break up with his girlfriend. It doesn't ask for a 2-week vacation. It works nights. It works weekends. It's better. Just got to get our head around it. That's it. Okay, this is also we're doing much less of like, is this going to take jobs, guys, and more of how the heck do we get in? Okay, that's also literally what's happening right now. Let's keep going. All right, locally, what's going on? Well, these are 5 startups, sarcasm, that are in my class at LSU. Okay, just so you know the tone and temperament locally, guys. These 5 have paid LSU. It's funny, LSU paying itself, but yeah, it's happening. These 5 paid to be in our class. We have the 25 brightest minds from a computer science perspective, and 5 of the brightest business minds teamed up, where each 5 of these are going to get an output of this semester. And we have a line. We have 12 more waiting to get in our class. And guys, I mean, look at those names. So the point is, like, what you're not going to be hearing going forward is this. I had an appointment last week with a Fortune 500 company. Literally, I kid you not, they asked me to come in the back door. Why do you think they did that? Exactly, because the game is on. The genie has left the bottle. So now these guys are clamming up because it's about strategy and it's about getting things. It's also about, with the smart ones, it's time to skin your knee. That whole risk thing, it's like, I want to be safe. I don't want to make a mistake. Wrong. I want you to make a mistake because that's the only way you're going to learn. And the more you wait and don't have a skin knee, you're going to fall behind. It's like saying, let me turn the lights off for this lunch. Let's bring the candles out. We can do it. You say, well, Henry, we wouldn't do that. Well, why? It's a choice. It's the way we did lighting at one point in our world. Because electricity's here, dummy. Well, exactly. This is simply a new tool. It's simply a new choice. Right? Let's keep going. Let's see what else. Okay. Here are our problems. It's not a perfect world. 3 big problems. Guys, a guy asked me the other day, what if this fails? I go, brother, if this fails, I don't even know how to answer it. Why? This is the biggest bet in the history of our economy. And it's not close. Meaning that if you knew the money invested in the space, if this goes belly up, which it will not, it's a whole different story. So this is literally the biggest bet in the history of business, which means we need way more users. Like that 18-month line for NVIDIA's GPU, which is $40,000, that's great. But at some point, users have got to catch up with the GPUs being sold. And then, big time need, guys, the real iceberg here is the energy. We're going to need 20 to 30x, not 2 or 3, 20 to 30x of the energy we need now to run these things. So, everyone always asks, what's your stock tip? If you really want to, look at the energy players, guys. So, nuclear, some form of coal, some kind of alternative. But when you have 20 to 30x need, that's where the future investment lies. But these are 3 big issues in our community. Okay, so opportunity. Where's that for you guys? Guys, if you are spending $1 to get attention today, I would say pump the brakes and ask, what is the return on the investment? Because if you can't put your finger on that, or it's not where you want to be, it's time to look at this technology. And it's time to do, I would repurpose that money to say, I'm going to do a deep dive on who's bought from me before, and then we're going to make choices on those decisions. Right? If you don't do that, you might as well take that money out in that parking lot and light it on fire. You're wasting it. You could spend it so much better. So I would audit your spend immediately. Number 2, this is really important for small business. If you're a realtor, if you sell bagels, if you're a credit union, now is the time to rethink, what data do we collect, why, and then what do we do with it? I'll give you an example. I pick on Lisa because she's a friend, and I know the credit union space pretty well. Let me ask a question in the room. Who in the room has shopped their car insurance lately? Did you guys get a lower rate? Everybody? Right? Okay, who in the room has like Gucci or Hermes car insurance? No one cares. All we want to do is pay the least amount possible, right? But, man, what's your name? Nod your head, that pretty green dress, what's your name? Miranda. Guys, so let me tell you, Miranda looks like a fun person. Let me tell you what she's not doing. She is. Let me tell you what she's not doing tonight. She's not going to go home, order herself a nice Chardonnay, and begin shopping her car insurance. It's like 597th on the list, am I right? So, what if her friends where she banks, in some data capture, says, Miranda, would we have your permission to save you money on your car insurance? Well, and she would say, sounds like it comes with the strings. They said, nope, no strings. And she goes, please. Now, when she does that, what they've done is just dig a little bit deeper in that moat. Because the next fiduciary that comes, hey, we want your business. And Miranda's going to go, whoa, what else? Because they just saved me $600 a year. You see? Those little things, they're everywhere. And we just don't focus on them because we're so focused on the next customer. So if you learn to collect the right amount of data, I'll give you an example. I was at, you know that yogurt shop by LSU, by the Rouseys? Yeah, I was in there because on my way to my class, I get it. I'm walking out going, I wonder if they just collected my birthday. And if the owner sent me an audio, hey, Henry, come get your vanilla, come on me. Yeah, I'd do it. And like that kind of thing. Does he know when my birthday is? Yeah, it's a data collection. So we need to think about what are we collecting, and then we have to get the trust of our customers to not injury attorney us.
How do you get their trust though? I mean, I would have gone, there's got to be something,
That's on you. That's on you. That's on you and the way you communicate and what you have to offer. But see, that's the beauty. Like, if you're in small business, chances of you hating your customer are pretty slim because you won't make it, right? Maybe we need to go to the bar for that one. But anyway, no, that's differentiation time. That's time to say, all right, let's do these differently. So, okay, third, okay. Guys, if you want to know what the jobs, if you have kids, if you're like, oh, Henry, what? These are the jobs. Data cleansers, meaning Lisa may go, Henry, we want to do that, but our data's not really ready. Okay, let's put it through the data car wash. These two good-looking young men, data cleansers and or data analytics people, because that is, you want to talk about adding jobs. We can't train those people fast enough. Because most of the people in here are going to say, I get it, Henry, but I'm not gonna go back to LSU to get my master's in data analytics. Fair. So find them, because those folks are coming. Okay, so how do I add? I'm gonna put you guys into 3 buckets and we're gonna round third base for questions. Number 1. Behind the back. Yep, okay. I can barely spell AI. Who's in that crowd? Who has the guts to tell me, all right, thank you. Here's what you do. Before you have to get an account, which most you have, and then you have to read the Disrupt Ready guide, which we built. It's 29 pages. If you finish it, you'll be a top 5% ChatGPT user in the world. That I can assure you. Most folks are just too lazy to finish it. And I'm gonna offer it to you guys at the end of my slide deck. That's one. All right, number 2. I have an account and already wrote a Shakespearean poem and Anna runs voice. Great. This is fun. That's cute. What do? Well, you get better at prompting. That little 2-sentence thing you told it to write, now let's turn it into 2 paragraphs and look what happens. And you do that by reading the Disrupt Ready prompt collection, which I'm going to give you for free because I love you. And number 3, this is where it gets a little sneaky. Yeah, Henry, we're doing things. Meaning, no, you're trying to stay under the radar. You think you're ahead, okay? If that's the case, then the snowball begins to roll downhill. You need to develop a 12 to 18-month strategy as to what's available and where you're going and why. Like, you really would have to convince me to dig in to where you could not convince me that you don't need to do a customer deep dive to figure out who's buying from you and why. That's a great first step. So those are the 3 kind of like, how do I AI at this point? Okay, take your phone out. If we're not connected, this is my LinkedIn profile. Connect to me here and just say, send me the resources, and we will send you those this afternoon. If we are connected, just shoot me a message and say, hey, Henry, send me the resources. But I'll leave that there for a while, because it'll go straight to my LinkedIn. I'm telling you guys, if you spend an hour every other day on that guide, you will be weapons grade. It has nothing to do with being technical. And you will be amazed at what that technology can do. Okay, again, 30 ounces of espresso in a hummingbird's belly with an Adderall. I do a lot, actually, as I always do. Let's do some Q&A.
So if you want to have your children grow up to be data cleansers and data analysts, what should they do? How do they get into that world?
You know what? Let's ask those that would be that age. Riley Hudson is or Roland. You want to answer that question? How would you get?
I guess it's not necessarily something you could push your kid to do, but I mean, growing up, I was always really into computers. So if you have a kid that's really into computers, I understand you don't want your kid curled up in front of a computer, not seeing any sunlight or talking to any actual real-life friends. But definitely try and embrace the technical things that they're learning. My parents were really good at that with me, and they got me interested into a lot of things that opened a lot of doors by the time I was 22. So, I'm in Henry's class.
So I'll say this too. The question you asked, guess what that is? That is a massive opportunity. Meaning, that is not a 4-year degree. Someone is going to offer these 2. Hey guys, here's a 6-week sprint, and you'll be certified, ready to go. It should be that big building about 2 miles from here. They're too slow, and I work there from time to time. Like, but that anybody in this room that's an educator, doors open. Somebody's going to do it.
Yeah.
What other questions? Yes.
What's going to happen in the creative space?
Great question. Give me more.
So, I have a son that owns a post-production company. He produces video, he animates. He owns his own business. He's like him. He had an inclination his whole life. He grew up. Does he have to migrate over?
So I think the first answer to your question is mindset. What you cannot do is say, no, I'm screwed. That's the wrong mindset. And that has nothing to do with AI. That has to do with innovation and moving forward. Okay? We've talked about the car a lot. Can you imagine if you were a whip and buggy guy and I was this into my life? Come on. Just iterate, grow. Second, the right mindset is a creative would go, wow, wait a minute. This can make me better. This can augment. Put it another way. If I had a creative, I'd say, okay, creative, tell me the top 2 or 3 things you hate. Boring, tedious, mundane, just too timely, but you have to do it as part of the job. Boom, that's where we start. Because it's like David Day, my friend here, I've known for a long time. He's really good with people. Like when he's sitting down with them, he's great. But so why wouldn't he say, well, let's push that more? Is Monday through Friday, how much can I get him in front of people? Because everything behind it, he can do, but he doesn't love it. And guys, I'll tell you, the salespeople in the room, the key to that, and I know this is true for most of you, you do not talk out loud enough. You don't post. You have to say things. I'll give my guy Ethan Ship in the Corridor Ethan. Ethan's a young sales guy here in town with Malaria Enterprises. He heard me say that. He's been posting more and more. What's happened so far?
Well, I just learned a lot more, and then I got some actual meetings with prospects.
Wait, you didn't get your head cut off? You didn't get stoned in the town square?
Well,
And it's coming. Ethan's building his network. Guys, I've just given you. If you're like, Henry, I get it. They're like, what would I talk about? This. If any of you say, hey, I've been in business for blank years, I'm like you. I'm hearing the drumbeat. I don't know much about it, but I'm gonna find out. That. If Miranda says that, what do you do, Miranda? I'm sorry, you're chewing.
I own an advertising agency.
Okay. Whew. I hit you right between your eyes.
Yes, you did.
Right. So, Miranda doesn't look like she's hanging them up in 2 weeks, so she might say, you know what? We got to disrupt ourselves over here. We're going to do it by using AI, but I don't know much. So I'm going to invite some experts on to talk and teach me this. How many of you would be interested in watching? I would. I'm like, yeah, she's got the guts to do that, and she's going to learn. So that's it. It always happens. Salespeople, oh, I want more leads. We can post more. Otherwise, you are whispering in the hurricane wind. And oh, by the way, when you do that, guess what? The customer will then put you on the same pedestal as. It starts with P. Come
Come on, y'all.
I don't know who you are. I'm going to decide what. Price. I don't really care about you. I mean, I don't know anything about you. I don't know if you have kids. I don't know. I don't have anything to go on. So if that's the case, the guy in Seattle could probably beat you on price. And he could put it on my front doorstep. So we have to start talking out loud. This guy right here, Roland, just in a month, he took my challenge. He does it on video. And they're very, it's him. It's not, it's in his, he's saying, hey, I'm not super comfortable doing this. What's been the return so far?
Pretty incredible. I have people from Google reaching out to me. Like it's opened a lot of doors already. It's only been like 3 weeks in.
He's posting the output of each of our classes and what he's learning. And just talking to the world. Yeah. So, all right. Other questions? Yes.
So you talked a lot about capturing data. What would your suggestion be to a smaller business? You don't have $1 million budgets and whatnot.
Sure.
We capture, the basic data, name, addresses.
What do you do?
That they buy, disaster recovery.
Okay.
So without paying the big data companies, Google, like what they're searching and all that, what is the best way you think to capture them?
Even if you had, the tools are getting so good. What's your name? Zach. The tools are so good. Even if you just have a pretty good Excel sheet, we can work with that. Meaning, a private large language model can be built for you just on that Excel. In fact, we can really do your handwriting. It's called OCR, optical character recognition. It's getting good enough to get that. So if all you do is keep nice, tight Excel data, that works. But the key is we got to keep it up. It's got to be good data.
So we have a CRM system.
Right?
Like the SaaS.
Sure.
Where do you capture behavior? Because that's where the money is made right there. Being able to predict behind nature, right?
If you said the word, that's all this is.
Right.
This is a prediction machine. So the more data we can teach it to say, what are you looking for and why? Now, A, that's going to help you craft your message, and B, I think it's going to help you eliminate waste of stuff you don't need to be spending. So the better you know your customer, ironically, like that's almost the whole shooting match. Because then this is going to allow you to double and triple down on that kind of person. But if you have a CRM, that's an export function to CRM. There you go, David.
Zach's point, a
lot of small business owners, and the conversation that I've had with clients, talking about these kind of issues, it's like, I can dream big about AI, but starting small is the biggest problem, getting started. So how do I extract information about that customer if it's not just name, address, phone number, et cetera? How do I go about getting that information about my customer that can be utilized for AI, what we used to call segmentation and then one-to-one marketing?
I would ask questions, David, like, I'm not trying, I'm being you now, so it's just like, I'm not trying to be cheesy, but like, what is your biggest problem? Like the biggest, forget the tech. Let's talk efficiency, let's talk productivity of your employees, and let's talk revenue. Those three buckets, any business owner, he or she understands. How efficient is your business? How productive are your employees? And where's the revenue coming from? Where's the growth coming from? Oh, okay, now I know. Okay, tell me about those. And the odds are, David, almost 99% of the time, when I hear that, I go, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that. It gets so overwhelming, I'm like, all right, time out, stop. Let's work on one first. So
you take that, and we've talked about this before, but for the benefit of everybody here, we ask these questions, we get this conversation going. They don't even realize that they're in a pre-sale conversation.
Sure.
Right? So they give us this data. Here's my pain points. Here's the things that happen. This is what I hate doing. This is what the things that we do repetitively. We're spending money on it. We wish we had. You say I have to do this and this and this and this. Right? How is that collected? What do we do with that? Do we go back and we enter it in the computer, the CRM, in a narrative, or how is that collected?
I think it depends on what you want the finish line to look like. Like in your case, you're a town connector. Like you're connecting people with opportunities. So you would just need really rich output, and I don't think you would need that many. But if it was like, no, we need hundreds or thousands, then to Zach's point, it's like either a good old-fashioned Excel sheet or a Google sheet or CRMs are big, they all have export functions. But it's like, for what? Like, what are we trying to, that's the one that we need to be specific on what we're asking it to do. So we need to understand. That's why I talk about strategy. You kind of need a 12 to 18 month roadmap of, okay, here, then here, and we do that work.
It's kind of like a focus group used to be a long time ago. I mean, I hear what you're asking, like, how do you find out if she likes green or blue better? How do you do that?
Can I take a shot at answering my question?
Sure.
Yay!
Here's what I do. I'll have that conversation, and I might invite Henry into the conversation. We've had a couple of meetings with a couple of clients, and we've done this. So we start identifying, okay, here's some soft spots that we think we can help them with. I'll go back in and I'll make notes about that client, about the conversation. I'll make notes about, hey, their kid's in medical school. That's interesting. My kid's in medical school. I'll make a note about they just had a new grandbaby, and that's really cool. I'll write that down. Now, I might remember that stuff. Because I believe that eventually one-to-one marketing is that I can enter this data and AI will find it and formulate a letter in my handwriting, in my voice, and they'll ask, by the way, how's the grandbaby Joel doing? You know, I don't even know that letter went out, but it came from me and it references this information that the data that I put in there, and I don't personally remember it because it was 6 months ago, but the AI system that I've created through the strategy that I've built is going to do those things for me. It's going to do it while I sleep, and it's going to do it one time in my mind, and as many clients as I've got, I can do 10,000 overnight, and I don't even have to touch it. So I take that data, it's not just, I guess thinking of data in terms of the narrative and the conversation. You said earlier, nobody's going to love your customers more than you do, or something along those lines. I'm a relationship person, so I'm going to leverage those relationships the best as I can. Not in a negative way, but I'm going to say, hey, I know this about this person. This is going to engender me a little bit to that individual. It's not reasonable that I can expect myself to remember every detail about their life 6 months later, but if I write it down, AI will assist me with it. And there's ways to create those systems.
So you're saying if you would collect spreadsheet information from 10,000 people to affect 10,000?
Not necessarily, no. I think it's, for him,
I know, he's like, I know what you mean.
well, this is a classic augmenting strategy, right? Like, he could do that stuff, but why would he step into something done for him when he's sleeping? You know what I mean?
And then,
And it builds.
and then my system can say, over the last year, you've been collecting this information, you wrote the narratives in your CRM. I can ask the CRM to pull everybody that had grandbabies that I talked to. And I can say, here's a classification or a segmentation of audience, no matter what age or whatever it is. This is a very specific information. That could be useful, maybe it's not. But just imagine what you could do if you had useful questions being asked, useful answers being entered, and then just push of a
So
button.
you have somebody,
mark.
something working for you without having to do anything.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes, did you have a question, ma'am?
Well, I'm the old generation, but you know, it's all but I also work with banks, so we talked about matters of handwriting, and voice, your voice,
Sure. So that's another, I see that as opportunity. Someone's going to come to market with an opportunity to solve that problem. And this technology can do that. In your world, would you open a branch right now without this? All of a sudden, that's right, like you're stepping into mobile banking, right? So look, we have to find a way to step into the technology safely, such that we can serve customers better. But are there questions? Yeah, but don't get caught behind being the last in line. Because the lines, it's just different, it's quicker. You know what I mean? Yes.
I'm trying to understand. Okay. Yeah, the boomer here at the tail end. So, the tail end boomer is asking, I collect all this data. I own a business. Mine is very specific.
What do you do?
Oh, I own a social and leisure club for seniors with mild dementia.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, it's to help them to get the cognitive
Gotcha.
impairment. Okay, so that's great. I own that. I do know my customers. I do put them on Excel spreadsheet. Okay, that's great. Now what? I have them on a spreadsheet. And
Okay,
what do I do?
Let's back up. What do you want?
More customers.
Okay.
And more people to know that this exists to help them.
Okay. How do you get customers today?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I've been doing it through Facebook, word of mouth, and doctors. Physicians make referrals.
Okay. And then your revenue stream is the patient pays you.
Yes, on
Okay.
private pay.
I mean, again, if you have, let's say you have 100 people who have said yes for around number.
Yeah.
I would be really interested just to figure out who are these people, what do they look like, what age are they male, female, where they live, as much data per customer, and then find where they overlap. Because when you do that, then you can put it in our system, and we could generate a pretty exhaustive list of, okay, here's a lot more about that kind of person. And most importantly, the pain points, right? So why they came to you. And then it would say, when given the task to say, your job is to go find hundreds, if not thousands more, you'd be surprised at how good the business planning could be. That's the kind of work it could do.
Wow.
Okay, so what, when you say, oh, I'm Henry Hayes, my company, we do,
Like mine, we're a business intelligence firm focusing on artificial intelligence.
there you go. That's what you need.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. I mean, we really are old school.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna push on you a little bit. Part of you is saying that, and I know you're a little bit because I'm gonna push you. Your brain is trying to keep you safe. This change is being put in your lap, and there's a fight or flight response we have as humans. And when we get older, flight. Those,
Very close.
it does, but your brain is saying, man, this is too complicated for you. You're not 21. That's wrong. That is wrong. The guy who founded Grey Goose was 72 years old. That's damn good podcast. So come on. Seriously, and I have so many of those as my arm is long. It's almost like saying, if we were here on the advent of the automobile, do you sit there with Marla and go, wow, it's going 31 miles an hour, but let's just stay on Daisy and Millie, the horses. No.
No, it's not that. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is somebody. I'm somewhat tech savvy, and so are you.
Are
But
there a bunch of companies that you do?
exactly, and then we give you our info. Is that what that's for? For us to send you our info?
No, I'm going to send you our guide to dominating the use of ChatGPT. If you read it, you will be really, really
I already
good.
sent you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to send you what we call our prompt collection, which is it's about a 20-slide PowerPoint. We created a framework and how to think about
Okay.
how you ask questions.
Okay.
It's called Create, C-R-E-A-T, and you'll see.
Okay.
If you put the time in,
Oh, I know.
you will be dominant. That's it. So that's what you're getting there.
Anybody
That's-
have questions? We.
Call David. All right, who else?
Actually, you're a great case study because the next step would be to have a meeting and talk about that crossover of your clientele.
Yeah.
And see where your customers come from, what they look like, and try to create a persona, if you will, a common thread, a lookalike, like Facebook.
Yeah,
talks
look,
about.
that's exactly it.
Okay,
This
so
is
we
gonna
do
be great.
a virtual lookalike, and then we plug it into the system there, and then we identify who else is just like these people that we can talk to, and how do we get to them. It'll show us how to do that.
Yes.
And then it'll say, oh, okay, you get referrals from geriatric physicians, right? Is that right, geriatric?
Or neuropsychologist.
Okay, so you get referrals. Okay, who are those people? How do we find them? Where are they going to be? What are they doing? What have they published? How do we get to
Oh
them?
my God.
We can know all that stuff, and then what do we say to them? Well, AI will help you formulate what we say to them based on what they're already reading. Pretty amazing, isn't it? What websites did they look for? What websites did they?
I'm coming to talk to you right after.
Did you have a question, Mama?
I think you answered it. So you said like compile the spreadsheet and then upload it to chat and then start prompting the chat.
Well, no, so back up. The most important thing, what do you do?
Project manager for advertising.
Okay, it's funny. PMs, we need PM work big time. That's actually interesting. Yeah, it's like, stay away. Don't worry, my bars. Anyway. Okay, you need to define the finish line. What does great look like? What do you want? And someone would say, I want more leads. Okay. Then I would say, back up. Let's walk. How do you get leads today? And in that process of discovery, we would find ways to step in and go, automate, 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 automate. Do you know what I mean? So you're asking the question the wrong way. If you say in your mind, can it do X? And I would say, we can get there. And I would go, give me a specific. What does it look like? I'll give you an example. Neighbors Federal Credit Union here in town, great people. They came to us and said, can you build a system where every one of our employees at the fingertip on their iPhone can access any of the policies and procedures we have under our roof? And I said, yeah, how many do you have? 10,000 pages. So we took every page and we ingested it into a large language model private to them. So today, if I'm a teller at Neighbors and I go, can a 15-year-old open up a checking account? Yes, and it gives me the 6 steps. Can I wear shorts to work? No. When is Labor Day 2028? What is our match on 401k? How many branches do we have? What time does it open? So that's an example of they posed that question to us, and we said, yeah, we can do it. And then we did it. So, does that make sense? All right. Couple more. This side of the quiet. Ladies, come on. Yeah.
We're doing a little bit of this already, like with things like programmatic banners and things like that to go find behavioral.
Okay.
So how do we get, I mean, a lot of this seems like direct marketing, direct database kind of issues. How do we transfer that into like broad media, like finding other people that look like the people that you want to market to?
What do you want whatever you're serving to do? What's the point?
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, I've got a lot of tourism.
What do you do?
market areas, advertising.
Like
So
your own?
tourism, yeah, mostly for tourism.
Oh gosh. You want to know the future of your business?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I need a couple of minutes to follow me. Last semester, The Advocate was one of the sponsors. The Advocate owns MardiGras.com. They've never done anything with it. So, my kids built a large language model, which from 1925 up until today, scoured The Advocate and the Picayune for every article ever written on Mardi Gras. So, right away, when did it start? How do you become a king? Everything you want to know about Mardi Gras is in that back pocket. Okay. Then forward thinking, so that's historical. We put a forward thinking on it as well. Meaning, let's see, it's Ashley. Let's say Ashley is from Cleveland, Ohio. And she's like, you know what? I've heard of that Mardi Gras. We're going to go down on Mardi Gras. What do you think the first thing she's going to do when she makes that decision today is? She's going to whip up the computer and Google. We say, time out. For one reason, unwittingly, we're sending the money to California. That's what you're doing. So, fine, we've done that. Okay. We say, well, what if we could keep the money here? You go, okay, well, I'm listening. All right. She would be something we have served to her. I'm going to try that Mardi Gras LLM. And she would go on it and go, what would you want to know if you were making a trip to Mardi Gras for the first time? Where's the best place to go? When does something called Muses roll? What's a coconut and why do they throw it? What's the cheapest hotel? On and on and on, right? Okay. So she would be on our app, right? On her phone. Here's the kicker for your world. You go down to New Orleans and go, okay guys, I got the 12 best restaurants in the room. I need 10 meals from you, 10 from you, 10 from you, and 10 from you. Because when she goes on it, we're going to load her up with gifts such that she's never going to use Google again. And she's going to go back to her friends. And they say, well, hey, how can you do that? Because all those people are already advertising and not getting great return, right? So she is going to stay on that LLM. That's the thing that we're working on. Now, I say that. Guys, if you ran ads to people in Cleveland, Ohio that said, get on this app and you will eat free at Commander's Palace. But again, you're like, well, you're paying. Well, so they don't advertise? Of course they do. So, so the future of timed events like that, like right now, we're bidding on the Super Bowl in New Orleans to do the same thing. Because otherwise, all that activity, the money could stay in the localities, right? Does that make sense? So that's what's coming. Yeah. Yeah. Did you raise your hand? Oh. Yeah. Oh, hi.
What are some of overlooked best practices, things that should be included in politics that doesn't roll out?
Yeah. So she asked, like, they're creating a policy.
In a banking space,
Yeah.
it's highly regulated.
So the hard nose to me, if I'm an employee at your credit union, no customer data ever goes into the public LLMs, meaning that's a hard no. So any customer data you cannot feed into the large language models that are available for everyone. So that's no. But I would not go so far as to say, we're taking it off your machines. Come on. That's like when, my parents said I couldn't listen to the Beastie Boys. Guess what? I'm going to listen to the Beastie Boys. That's going to happen. Right? So I think setting rules of what you can and can't do. Copy. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't use GPT on all your ad copies. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. It's smarter, it's better, you can do it faster, it's cheaper. Now it can create images. I had images I was going to bring to you guys that my guy creates. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe they're not real. So let's see what else I'm thinking about. I would be clear to my customers that none of their data is being shared, just because that's going to be more and more important. I mean, those are the starts. Those are the things I would think about. Other questions? Yeah, my point, sir.
When it comes to AI, specifically like on how do we navigate industry and not AI?
Where's my guy Chase?
He's in the back, talking.
Chase. Is this, do we have a signal? Can you get me to a browser really quickly? Let's check, okay. Nicholas asked a great question. IP, who owns it? So, have you guys created images on GPT yet? Yeah, pretty cool, right? Picture, even better, look at you, picture, better. So when you create it, who owns it? Who said me? Nicholas. you're right. You own it, because it's your account. Now, in the case of like OpenAI suing, or the New York Times suing OpenAI, it's a different issue because they've been training a lot of their data. Different. I think the image generators currently, when you generate, your prompt generates that work of art, that's you. You own it. The better question in your world is, does Campus Federal own it? You as an employee. But we have a lot of unsettled IP questions, guys, that I'm about to show you an example. If we can get this thing
So
going.
like, if Shutterstock can let you do your own generative AI, Shutterstock, and then you download that on your subscription, can they take that image and put it in their stock and resell it?
See, I don't know how they have access to it, number one, though. If it's on my account, you'd have to have my username and password to get to my stuff.
And like, you know, I mean, it's so cool because Photoshop, you can do generative AI. I mean, you're using it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's helpful.
Yeah, the Getty images of the world, it's not a good business model to use any longer. Or, guys, how about the AI, how about the Hollywood writers' strike?
Oh, yeah.
Bad timing, guys.
Yeah.
So, is it, okay, has anyone ever heard of Udio in the room? We're gonna do if you're an actor, you never work with pets or children. If you're a speaker, you never do a live demo. We're gonna do a live demo. Here we go. I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna show you guys, it's gonna blow your mind. I need some help. Let's see. My friend right here. What's your name? Sarah. What's your favorite kind of music? Sarah likes pop. Okay. Any particular genre? Maybe like 80s, 90s, current? Okay. Perfect. Okay, Miranda, give me a topic, something we can write a song about.
Love.
Woo, love!
Oh, that's true.
Hey guys, so watch the screen. Alright, here's the topic. A lot going on. So this is what's called A/B testing number one. This is literally going to create our own song. You're not gonna believe this, but it's doing this. It's not doing 1, 2, 2 because it wants to know which one we like better. So right away it's collecting data on my usage. Okay. Now, how is this possible? Yeah. Yes, it's A/B testing. Yep. How is this possible? Well, no, I taught you about 30 minutes ago. Think about it.
Data.
Yeah, you're talking about literally millions upon millions upon millions of lines of code that it's running right now to try to predict what we want. Now, the speed is going to kind of blow you away, and it's kind of cute, but when you start to think about the ripple effect of this, which is as bad as it's going to be. Did you ever hand raise back there?
Yeah, I just have a question.
Yeah.
So let's say in this example, you said create a Taylor Swift inspired pop song about, what if we add something that's like about being a Tiger fan?
It can do it.
Okay. Would you have to put in what, like?
Yeah. So what?
How would you go in and put the specifics? Live in Baton Rouge, LSU
Bingo.
Tigers.
Okay, what's your name? Kelly asked a great question. Kelly asked how to prompt. That's all you're asking. And if you send me that, I'm going to send you my prompt. You are savvy. I'm going to send you my prompt collection. And if you read that slide deck, you will be weapons grade prompt.
Okay.
Yep.
And the more you interact with your, I know that the Udio account, the more I interact with Claude, the more I interact with chat.
It learns your voice.
They know me,
That's
and they
right.
start to
That's right. That's right. That's right. Like this. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we should. This is taking way longer than it normally does, guys. I don't know why that is. I think the connection might be bad. Taylor, we got Taylor Swift already on us, so that's not good. Anyway, if we can't listen, it's really, really, really good. And
My computer.
that's right. Oh, here.
Almost real.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot. Hearing you talk. You did a great job.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
In one assignment. I don't think it's going to play. The point is, guys, it's, if I played it for you, you'd be like, oh, you have high school kids in garage band. It's not bad. Oh, wait. Go back. Oh, did Chase mess it up again? Chase? Okay, anyway, you get the point. All right, guys. Any last questions?
Tell me, like, and this is a broad question, but like I keep thinking about how hard it is right now with like young people being able to buy homes and just real estate in general. And how is it going to impact? Where's the positive impact do you feel? And when are we going to really, feel it? I know colleges does something.
So I think the long-term impact, two things. In the short term, whenever we have our Tom Hanks moment, then look out. And what I mean by that is March 11th, 2020, you saw on the news Tom Hanks has COVID. And I was like, Forrest Gump has COVID? Like, and for some reason, that made it real for us. Remember that? So some company's going to announce that 800 people's work shift has shifted because of this. Something's coming quickly. So that's our moment. When that happens, the floodgates are going to open. I think there's all kind of new opportunity. I think that work streams will be better. I think opportunity for guys like this will be a lot better. I think things are just going to be recreated, reimagined, but it's going to happen pretty quickly. So at the end of the day, the key thing here is your mindset. It has nothing to do with the technology. It has everything to do with the way you view it. Can I not judge? Can I not say I'm old? Can I not say I can't learn things? Like, that's mindset. And that's 100% in our control. But yeah.
Well, now that you said mindset, I guess my question would be more from an ethical question, or maybe your thoughts about the ethics behind it. Sure, you can generate these images in our art, and we own that. You can generate a song, and it's your song, and you own it. But where does the ethics start and stop? Just like, for example, on Twitter, you can, or X, I'm sorry, you can, if my social security number, my address, my telephone number is found elsewhere on the internet, X doesn't feel like they have to scrub it because it can be found elsewhere.
So, good question. I would say this. Whenever you ask a question like that about this technology, compared to what?
I mean, ethics as we know it is.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, it's not bereft of that question. I'm just saying, look, humans are going to human, right? Eve took the first bite of the apple and it was all downhill from the human race. It's true. So, I think it's a fair question, but I just want to make sure, what's your name? Jordan, I want to make sure your head, I want to make sure you don't ask that question, because Marty's like, yes, see, it's ethical, so back up, slow down, Jordan. I want to make sure you are in your own way. That's all.
I mean, I think, again, when it comes down to the ethics, if you're standing in your own way, then you obviously feel morally obligated or wrong about what you're creating, what you're doing. But I think that when it comes to our personal information,
Well, you know who's going to draw it? It starts with a C. The customers. Please help us if that happens. Look, Jordan, I'm on a sailboat. I'm going to go. You'll never see me again. Like, I'm out. I'm out. No, look, at the end of the day, your customer will tell you, Jordan, that's too intrusive. Or, Jordan, I love that. Where's that been my whole life? So it's incumbent upon the business community to go, where is that fine line? It's like her banking. Of course she uses mobile banking, right? Like, yeah, she stepped in the innovation to make her customers' life easier. The guy in Seattle says, I can put it on your doorstep, and Lori loves it. Who in this room hasn't got a package from Amazon in the last 7 days? Nobody. One. Congratulations. I think the customers are going to tell us that story. And that is a mindset. Like, hey, my customers going to decide. But I'll be darned if I'm not in that fight. I'm not going to have anybody else dictate to me what the new rules are. Yeah, I'm going to steer my lead, but I'm going to set my own new rules. So, all right. Yes, last one.
Quick question.
Yes.
When you speak on like how to discern between a company trying to get your information to project check or like scammers trying to get your information, because I'm sure they're using getting checks.
Oh, listen. 2 days ago, my wife's credit card called in and said, "Oh, we got fraud on your card. Did you have a $1,000 charge in Katy, Texas? No. Did you have this so-and-so one? No." He said, "Okay, great." He said, "Hold on. I'm going to FaceTime the FBI in
What?
now." My wife's a lot of things. Dummy ain't one of them. So she hung up. But she said, "Yeah, smooth." You know, so this is out there, and this will become more prevalent. Again, opportunity. So what do you do?
Crystal Habitat, I work with procurement, so getting donations for
Okay, so guys, even if like in her world, if that's what you really care about, you're passionate about, what if you did all the research and you have something to say to your entire group of customers, and it may or may not have anything to do with what you sell them, but you're keeping them safe? I'm down. Like, I'm listening, because that's important. Somebody has to do it. And I don't want to go to Google. What a great opportunity. Because then you're going to go, that was kind of cool. She really enjoyed that. He didn't say anything. I don't care. She really enjoyed that. So it might like get your snowball a little bit bigger rolling downhill. All these new ways of thinking, guys, are simply serving people. And that's, come on. How do we do work? You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. So you serve customers, you dig them out. That's what I would say. Yeah. All right, I think I'm done.